Jesse's going to jump up on the screen. We're going to talk about Raheem Sterling. Jesse, what do you make of this signing? Who's got the better end of the deal here, Man City or Chelsea?
I think it's good for both of them in their own ways. Obviously, Chelsea are in dire need of defenders and attackers. Raheem Sterling, proven, 4-time Premier League winner, I believe 4 times.
Yeah.
I think it's good. And he brings in the right sort of mentality. Not that Chelsea doesn't have success or hasn't had success, but league success is something that Tuchel needs. And I'm not sure if he's ever been the greatest league manager at Dortmund. I wouldn't say so. At PSG, I mean, it's pretty hard to miss out on that league, to be fair, to not win it. So I think bringing in Raheem is good. And he's, like I said, he's proven. He's going to be a massive addition to the squad, and they really needed a replacement for some of these attackers on that left-hand side. So
100%. I mean, the biggest thing that I'm impressed with, I suppose, is the price. I think £45 million, up to 50. It's a fantastic deal. It's a really reasonable price, especially when we're looking at some of the players on the market that are going in similar positions. Well, Raheem Sterling's 27 years of age, and he's got 3-4 years of playing the highest level of football. And he's a very, very good player. He's got his downsides, but he's also got a very positive side, which is, as you've said, he's a winner. He is a winner. He knows how to score goals, create goals. He can play different positions. He's been there. He's done it. He's got the T-shirt. So Chelsea, this is a really, really good piece of business, which stands out in a club which has failed to do any good business all transfer window so far. They've been really poor, which we're going to go on to later on in the show. So with that, Jesse, so what's the first thing we're going to be looking at here? How does he weigh up?
Well, the thing that I found interesting, obviously, was that his stats minus games played are actually pretty similar to Christian Pulisic, but you kind of see the difference. Obviously, Christian can't stay fit for 38 games a season, which is unfortunate. I'd love to see that. He's my countryman, but
he's a very good player.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously Sterling is left-footed, Christian is right-footed, so there is a difference there. But I think it's going to be an upgrade on the other two we look at here. Obviously, as we go through these, we'll see a little bit of Hakim Ziyech is obviously a very different sort of player.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Werner, if you kind of start looking at shot accuracy, if you start looking at the actual conversion rate, the amount of shots, Christian Pulisic is much more similar to Raheem Sterling in all of those metrics. What I would say is the conversion rates here are telling.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, 14% in comparison to 28%. It's literally double. And in fairness, this is a player in Raheem Sterling who unfortunately isn't known as being the most prolific of finishers, in fairness to him. But it shows that he's, technically twice as prolific as Timo Werner is.
Yeah, exactly. And we start looking at assists. Obviously, Christian Pulisic and Raheem Sterling are much more creative. Playing in that City side, Sterling is a great source. I know that people talk a lot about his movement, which is very intelligent, and his late runs, back post runs, scoring goals from that position, especially in previous seasons.
Yeah.
But he also creates a lot. He creates a lot because he goes down the wing and cuts it back, which is obviously a staple of how Pep likes to play and score goals.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see how he lines up in this Chelsea side. And
I am as well. I'm very interested to see how he lines up because he's basically coming to replace somebody, isn't he? He's going to be first name on the sheet.
Yeah, but this is what concerns me is I'm still not convinced that I've said this before. We've spoken about this before. I'm not convinced Havertz is the guy. No. So I think that they need someone else there to take not the pressure off of Raheem Sterling, but the actual attention off of him when it comes to on the pitch. I'm inclined to say he's there to replace Pulisic because obviously Pulisic can't stay fit, but I don't know how much this really improves them. I think it's a great signing. I think it does improve them markedly, but I'm not sure this improves them as much as people think it will.
I agree. They've lost Lukaku. As much as Lukaku wasn't really, effective as a player, he did score goals last season. He still did. Not as many as anyone thought that he would. Raheem Sterling for me benefits massively. He's always played better when he plays with a proper number nine, whether it's Aguero or whether it's Kane. He's always benefited from somebody in the middle to cut that ball into. And Chelsea don't have that player. They don't have that player who will play in that position up front now, where they would. So I agree with you. Do I think that Raheem Sterling's going to be the difference between them finishing in top four and challenging for the title? No. Do I actually think that Raheem Sterling will win them more games? Perhaps, but I think we're only talking maybe one or two at the very most. I don't think this is going to be great leaps as a signing. And effectively, he's sort of he's half. If a puzzle had two pieces, for me, he feels like he's half the piece, and there's still another piece that's required for him to work really well and really influence games.
Yeah, I think missing out on Rafinha is massive, and it looks like that's going to happen at this point on Monday at 10 p.m. your time. It does look like that's official, and he's going to go to Barcelona. I don't see they need more threat, because I don't think that this is going to be enough. I know people think that he might go in there and score 15 goals, assist 10 maybe. I just don't see him having a season like he's had 2-3 years ago for City. I don't want to be, I don't want to be a downer on
Yeah,
this.
I'm not trying to be a negative nanny and Ellie, do you know what I mean? But you're right. I'm not convinced.
And I kind of, when I look at this, I know I said that the stats are more towards Pulisic, but I think I have that wrong. I'm looking at this, and he is a marked upgrade on Timo Werner for obvious reasons. I think anyone would say that. But if you think about their style of play, the only real difference is Timo Werner's right-footed.
Yeah.
And it looks a lot like they the way that Timo's been employed mostly on the left, he hasn't really played the way that he was playing at Leipzig, mostly because he couldn't play that way for Leipzig. He can't play that way for Chelsea because you're coming up against low blocks. So there is a lot more of that Raheem Sterling try to beat a man with pace and cut it back into the 6-yard box. But I think it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I think he's an upgrade, but they need more. So